born to rise. So what you know about sacrifice when the lights go out? The price.
Hey guys, Coach Alex here. We're going to go over some of the basics that you're going to need to know for this upcoming season. The first and real basic thing that we're going to go over is the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage is where the ball is placed on the field prior to the start of the play. No player is allowed to touch the line of scrimmage. We must be behind this line of scrimmage both on offense and defense. It's important to know that so that we won't be called offsides. We're going to start with the positions on the offensive side of the ball. The player who starts off with the ball is the center. On his left and on his right, you've got the guards, obviously left guard and right guard. Outside of them, you've got your tackles, your left tackle and your right tackle. And then you have your tight ends, left end and the right end. Right behind the center, you have the quarterback. It's designated as the one back. And behind the quarterback, you'll have two running backs, designated as the two back and a three back. As you can see, the number order always stays the same. Quarterback is always 1. To the quarterback's left will be the 2 back, and to his right will be the 3 back. All the way out past the tight end to his left is the wide out. The next thing that we need to go over are the holes on the offensive line. Now the holes are essentially the spaces in between each player on the line. All the holes on the right side of the line are designated with even numbers. Beginning with the center, immediately to his right is the 2 hole, followed by the 4, the 6, and the 8. And then to the left of the center, all the holes are designated with the odd numbers. Immediately to the center's left is the 1 hole, followed by the 3, the 5, and the 7 hole. Now these numbers are important, guys. We need to know all of our hole numbers so that when we're calling out plays and assignments, everyone knows what they're doing. We're going to go over the positions on the defensive side of the ball. First up, we have our defensive end, followed by the 2 defensive tackles, which are on the inside of the line, and then another defensive end. Behind them, we have our linebackers. The linebackers on the outside are called, obviously, the outside linebackers, and in the interior, you have the inside linebackers. Now towards the outside and slightly behind the linebackers, we have our cornerbacks, and then deep in the middle is our safety. This is a standard 4-4 defense, which is what we'll be playing this year. Prior to this season, if you had played before, we actually played with a 6-2 defense, so we had 6 guys on the line and only 2 linebackers and the corners and safety. So it's a little different this year, but the basics are kind of the same. Now on defense, we also have designations for the holes between the offensive players, but on defense we call those gaps. Now the gaps are designated with letters as opposed to numbers on offense. So the gap between the center and the guard is called the A gap, followed by the B, C, and the D gap. On both sides of the line, you'll see that the gaps are labeled the same way, A, B, C, and D, with A being on either side of the center. And that's it for right now, guys. We need to make sure that we know these basics before our first game. It's crucial for both sides of the ball that all players understand hole designations, gap designations, and each one of these positions and where they are on the field, where they line up. We'll be working on these for the rest of the month as well, but you guys need to take the time, just a few minutes, every day or every couple of days, go over these, go over them with your parents. You guys can quiz each other. I'll be asking you guys on the field as well. It's important that you know these things before we can get into a game. Alright guys, that's it for me right now. Study up, and we'll see you guys out on the field.
What you know